Name their channel then.
I'm done with this.
You make Stanley.
Be done with it because it's bollocks, and you know it.
No, what's bollocks is you trying to make me dox. That's what's bollocks.
I'm not trying to make you dox someone. I repeat that again. I'm not trying to make you dox someone.
That's exactly what Jim.
No,
I dox somebody by name.
You're gonna dox him by giving him us his YouTube handle?
Personal channel. He is trying to make me dox somebody, and I'm not gonna do it.
When I said name someone, I meant name their channel. Don't be silly. I wasn't asking you to name the person.
And can you know who that person is by naming that channel? Yes or no?
I don't need to know. All I need to know is that there is a flat earther
everybody know?
Oh my
All I need to know is that there is a flat earther who's been converted to flat earthism by Debbie, which is your claim. Your claim is that this is happening every day.
I'm done with this. Jim Panda, you know you're wrong on this.
Right.
You know you're wrong. You're asking me to dox people.
No, you know you're wrong.
I refuse to dox people.
I don't think you need to dox anybody,
fuck
dear
off with
Soundly,
the
to give us their YouTube handle.
Yeah. I've repeated 3 times that I wasn't asking him to dox somebody. Why is he continuing to say
Virtue signaling.
Because all you've got left is this silly
Because if you were, then you'd be the bad guy if you were actually asking him to dox. So he's just trying to like turn this into him being a victim.
All right, so I'm just going to clarify this for
manipulation.
everybody else.
Man, I'm all over these
people
guys
that have
with this
personally
manipulation
emailed me, that have personally messaged me, that have said that they have been influenced by flat earthers like Debbie. Okay.
No, but that isn't the argument. It's by Debbie. It's by Debbie.
Yeah, you said by Debbie.
The argument you're making is that they were influenced by Debbie.
Yes, it is, Soundly.
You're talking about by flat earthers like Debbie. Go and deal with the flat earthers like Debbie, not Debbie.
That was never my argument. My argument is the fact that
yes, that was exactly your argument.
Yes, it was, Soundly. We were all here, dude.
Deal with the other flat earthers.
We were all here.
No, it is
not.
not.
Go and deal with the other flat earthers who aren't Debbie then. If that's your thing, go and deal with them.
You are supporting her delusion and you're supporting her influence people.
I'm stopping you from bullying people and being an arse.
I'm not bullying anybody. I'm not bullying anybody. I'm pointing out.
You should recognize when you're being an arse and when you're bullying people.
I'm pointing out con artists, and you don't like it. You don't like it when I practice my free speech. Whenever she practices her free speech, perfectly fine. Whenever I practice my free speech, you don't like it.
You mean your slurred speech?
You don't like it, Jim. Whenever I don't want to dox somebody, you don't like it, Jim. And you should listen to the people that are actually on your side right now, Grim V and Merrill.
I know everyone's on his side right now, dude.
Look, I run this server. I don't need anybody to be on my side. I decide what goes on.
You don't run the server.
And if I say you're bullying, you're bullying. Because I say what goes on here. And that's the end of it. I'm sorry, but that's it. I don't want to fall out with you, Soundly. I admire all your work. I think you're a great guy. But tonight, you're wrong. And that's it.
Yeah, let's just take a step back and remember we're all friends here. Like I'm the guy who's supposed to be saying that. Oh, that's funny.
No, seriously, Jim, do you really think people are like trying to like target Debbie just because?
No, not target, but
no, people are getting.
But that's how sometimes it ends up.
Yeah,
and when it ends up like that, I'm going to stop it. I don't think we should allow people to do that.
I can see why it might seem that way, but it's mostly just like the buildup of like how she sort of plays things. So, like you can see that, right?
The crowd habit. It's not intentional. Like I don't think anyone sets out to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
It happens. It emerges sort of naturally, and no one's actually.
Yeah, we all have to be reminded.
Doing it. It's the group that's doing it.
We all have to be reminded.
I think it's going to be a little hard now to move away
criticism
from this subject, but we should try. Don't keep adding wood to the fire and try to move away from this subject.
I guess it boils down sometimes to what you say and how you say it, and are you actually saying something?
I've been the nicest guy for the longest time, and nobody can disagree with that.
And all we're saying is it's just making you look bad.
I'm pointing out
it doesn't help you. It makes you look bad. That's all we're saying.
Is a disservice to Debbie and to everybody else.
Well, that's your opinion, and I disagree with it soundly.
Well, then you're fucking wrong.
Thank you very much for voicing it. I've heard it many, many times, but I don't think it's
You've
true.
heard it many times.
I don't think you're in a position to judge anybody's mental health. And I think if you were in a position to judge somebody's mental health, you wouldn't be doing it in this room.
This to you, Jim, and now
Why are you incapable of listening? Why do you talk all the way through everything I've said?
And why do you never say that to freaking
We do
Debbie?
it all the time. We do all the time.
Jim never does.
Jim doesn't say
I
anything.
rein everyone in who is rude and aggressive.
No, do you
Debbie
think
gets
you
away
say-
with
Debbie
Debbie
does
gets
that
away with a little bit more
daily.
because usually
Debbie does
she's
that
outnumbered.
daily, 24/7,
You're doing it again. Why can't I-
365 days a year, and you
All
let
right,
her do
you
it,
just
Jim.
keep talking.
You
Let
her
me know
do
when
it.
you've finished.
You let her do it, Jim. You let her do it over and over again, and it's bad for her health, and it's bad for everybody else, and you let her
Who
do
the
it.
fuck are you to be judging other people's health? Fuck off!
Right. That's what I thought.
Exactly.
Get in, Jim.
Well, that went pretty far. A lot farther than I thought it was gonna actually.
Good though. Some things need to be said, obviously, and there you go. Everything's out in the open now.
It is, isn't it?
I mean, honestly, like when it comes to like at least like talking about reality, when it comes to like speaking with Debbie, I completely agree with Soundly. Like she a proper dose of reality a lot of times.
Well,
She doesn't.
Crack Habit, you're wrong, man. This has been brought up before, and there's pretty much a room full of people against you and family saying that you're fucking wrong.
That's fine. I'm just saying like whether she gets it or it.
Dude, you had no problem
It's
with it when it
irrelevant. I
was
just-
me that was getting told to stop being a dick to her. It was all fine then. So, I mean, why should it be any different when someone else is
Look,
doing it?
No, dude.
You know?
I
No,
tell people
seriously,
all
I've
the
been-
time, and I tell Debbie as well. But sometimes, with Debbie, she's always under fire, usually by a number of people. So yeah, I do let her get away with a lot more than probably other.
You
other
guys are wrong
people
when you
would.
think like I'm like. sitting
But
here
she's
just
not
like-
normally a name caller, and she can't really be a bully because it's usually her on her own.
That's amazing that you say
Jim,
that.
I
She
agree.
practices defamation every fucking word out of her mouth.
She
What-
is a single
that's
actor.
just not-
What are you
from her
talking
side.
about?
It's
But
just not
for real,
true.
She's
Uh,
your
but it is.
nemesis, Soundly. She's
I'm
your
gone. I go to
nemesis.
work. I go to work
Just
for
embrace it.
days at a time,
You-
and I come
you
back.
love
And when I come
Debbie
back,
deep
I
down,
find out
so-
that she's been saying that I'm 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, dude. And you guys just go with it. What the fuck, Jim?
Soundly loves Debbie.
Meryl,
just can't
shut up.
handle
Don't
it.
keep-
What's
don't
this?
keep
This is a
talking
new
to
thing
her.
now.
Don't keep adding with
More
it.
drama.
Yeah, roll call.
This isn't a new thing. This is what's been going
Says
on
it
the
drama
entire
for your
time.
mama.
It is. We've had. Oh, she's converting people to flat Earth. You're defending Christianity, and now it's that she's defaming.
Crusades all
It's
over
all
It's the
again.
same fucking topic, Jim.
You're clutching
What are you
at
missing?
straws, Soundly.
What are you missing? It's all the same topic, Jim. It's all the same fucking topic. How are you not getting this?
Maybe you need another
De-
brewski.
Debbie is a valued member of this community. How are you not getting this?
Wow. Okay.
Okay.
As long as she
Seriously.
is delusional entertainment for, she's a valued member to the community.
But it's not really like that though, to be fair.
But it is.
Opposition to what the consensus is. And if there's more people with opposition to
Right.
the consensus to, have different types of discussions, then the more interesting a room can be, other than a fucking echo chamber. He's trying to manage this shit
Right.
without saying that. All right. So I mean, you should be like aware of the goddamn dynamics of a fucking room that's successful.
Right. Exactly.
The room is successful because we're willing to sacrifice one person's
It's
mental
not
health
that, dude.
for the good.
No,
and
your
entertainment
mental
of
health is.
everyone.
We're willing to
That
sacrifice
is
yours too.
exactly what it is.
It sounds like it is hard to make that diagnosis. And when James said like he's heard that a lot, part of what happens is that's something that a lot of people think at one point, and the more you look into it, and the more you think about it, and the more you sort of talk to everyone about it, you start to realize that's sort of a knee-jerk, but not necessarily true feeling. I believe.
There's been a person here for an entire year that's willing to call people names, to tell them that say that they're a fraud, to say that they're liars, to say all types of horrible things about people, calling them demons, calling them Satan, to say that all the evidence for a round earth and for not chemtrails and for the benefit of vaccines is in our favor, and you guys are supporting that.
But that is the nature of being a flat earther, and the whole point of this room is to have, is to argue with people who are flat earthers. That's all part of their narrative, soundly. And if you're really offended by that, hang on, let me finish. I accept the fact that you're perhaps more of a victim of it than a lot of people because of the nature of your content. But by the same token, if you're really, really this offended by that, Debbie's going nowhere. I'm not kicking her out. I'm not changing anything. So.
Oh, and by the way, I have vaccine. I have vaccine arguments that would just smack your.
I think you enjoy being here and arguing as much as anyone.
I'm calling you out on supporting her, Jim. That's the whole point.
I'm sorry.
And you don't like the fact that I'm calling you out. You don't like that I'm expressing.
It doesn't bother me, Sandy, because I've heard you. I've heard your opinion on it. I've had the same opinion from one or two other people, and I disagree with it.
It hasn't been one or two other people, Jim. I know how many people.
Well, you don't, because I run the server and I know what goes down. And frankly, I don't care.
Do you run the server, Jim?
Yeah.
Who owns the server, Jim?
Mr. B owns the server. But I understand the ethic of the server, and so do the people. So does Scott. So does Twit, and so does Captain Bullshit.
And like it or not,
they're the
so
people
do
who
I.
understand what. Right, and Grim obviously does as well. He's absolutely right in what he says. I've got to maintain an environment that allows people to, engage, and that means I have, when it's a pack of dogs after someone and attacking them, on a fairly personal and intimate level, then all I did. I mean, let's face it. I didn't really have a go at anyone. I just said, guys, this is becoming bullying. Let's just back off a bit. That's all I did.
Right.
And from it, I got all this sound like.
And this is a free speech server,
a slurred speech server. That's right.
But free.
Okay. Well, now I'm expressing my opinion.
Free speech doesn't mean you're allowed to abuse and bully people.
I'm not abusing it.
And when I see it happening, I'll call it out and try and rein it in a bit.
Right, and I'm calling you out at the same time.
And again, I've heard what you say, and I don't care. I think you're wrong.
Okay, well then I think you're wrong as well, and I don't care. There we go. I guess we're at an impasse.
Can I throw one thing in here, guys? Just one thing, Grim. I just want to say one thing, which is, when Jim said that, it wasn't actually directed specifically at you. It was to the group. And to be fair, what was happening was somehow it had come up when she had first had sex or something, when she had her child, and how old the father was, and people were really going in on that in a way that was kind of like a little bit like
right.
In a way that's pointing out her hypocrisy.
Yeah, Scott. Bullshit, Scott. I'm kidding. If not bullshit.
Oh, I see. Gotcha.
Well, if we can't point out her hypocrisy, if we can't use hyperbole to do that, then what's the fucking point? If I can't be sarcastic, if I can't point out her hypocrisy, then what is the point? Are we supposed to really treat her with gloves? Are we supposed to do that?
I guess you decide that at the end of the day, man. Like if you've got the trigger loaded.
It's not that I decide that. It's that there's objective reality. There's objective truth. It's not a subjective thing. It's her actually expressing her own hypocrisy.
She locks herself into these statements all the time. Like, I mean, this is something that you deal with when you deal with her, is that like she actually does argue against herself, and when you try and bring it up